I'm completely sold now. This is amazing. This is incredible. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Thanks, Kathleen Kennedy. Thanks for fixing Star Wars. Now we're back. Yay! Yay! It's I'm just so
Thanks,
happy
Kathleen
now.
Kennedy.
I'm so
Thanks
glad
for
it's back.
fixing
Star Wars is back.
Now we're
Baby.
back.
Yay!
Carl Weathers' character was very compelling. Grief Karga. He's a character who is very compelling, very believable in this universe. Very believable, just very authoritative, and just totally took control of the scene. This whole Cantina scene was very reminiscent of Star Wars. It looks like Rogue One, but it had no soul because there was no music accompanying the scene at all. There was no music at all in the scene. The whole money exchange was weird because he attempts to pay for the bounties with Imperial credits, but ends up accepting only half of the amount with the calamari flan. Calamari flan made me actually think of like flan made out of calamari, like squid. But obviously it's
a trap!
You know, money that they made, obviously, that the Mon Calamari made. Which it looks like blue meth. It looks like blue meth, though. The fact that he accepts the calamari flan, this makes me believe that the Imperial credits must be actually worth nothing at all at this point, because he says that you can have Imperial credits or literally half the amount, you know, an out-of-date currency, you know, perhaps the Imperial credits are like worth nothing at all, and an out-of-date currency that no one will accept, like a euro or something, because he accepts half of the calamari flan. Carl Weathers even has a team of inspectors to make sure that the frozen bounties are authentic or genuine. Many of the wanted beings are out on bail, or jump their bail, or they're smugglers. So this is, I mean, once again, this is fun. It's just fun to see the Star Wars universe back in action, it seems. It's frustrating, though. It's very frustrating. I mean, this episode made me very angry. You know, I mean, I get it. I love it that any of you out there, if you're watching this video and you enjoyed it, hell yes. I mean, I did enjoy this episode, but this whole thing is so frustrating because of what they did before this. It's like they should have been doing this from the beginning. The music was okay on this episode. I am slowly warming up to it, and every time I hear it, I am at war with myself as to whether to accept it or not, because John Williams' music is now a character that is missing from the Star Wars universe. And the Rise of Skywalker will be the last time that we hear his incredible score flooding our inescapable universe of this science fiction fantasy. The music from this show is often littered with Native American flute pentatonic licks or melodies, leaving an open, down-home, but slightly dumbed-down version of Star Wars. Don't get me wrong, it was still fun. It is supposed to give us a comfortable, open Western atmosphere that begs to be bootlicked. And I can almost get there. I'm not quite sold with the series, especially with how we were treated before. I cannot swallow this, as I know what they will do to further their agenda in the future, and I readily accept that all of this is most likely temporary, especially since they destroyed Luke Skywalker. The separate job that is unorthodox continues to unfold. This new job, this new unorthodox job. Inflation of currency is definitely illustrated here because the Mandalorian says that it's 5,000. Like, one of these jobs covers 5,000, which won't even cover fuel. When Luke had said that they could almost buy their own ship for 10,000, and that's that's how much Han had, remember that? How Han had offered that. He said, 10,000 all in advance. That was like a lot of money back then. This shows economic problems, perhaps created by the Empire or after the war ended, causing economic quality decrease in certain parts of the galaxy. So one of my biggest gripes in this show is that we don't get the names of the planets on the screen like we did in Rogue One. I get it that it was an artistic decision. That's an artistic decision on Favreau and Filoni's part, but nonetheless an unfortunate one, particularly because, especially since Disney will probably just keep introducing new planets constantly instead of returning to familiar ones, and I can see it becoming difficult to keep track. On this special bounty, there is no chain code, no bounty puck, and it's deep pocket. So this whole middle section of the episode, he ends up in just another neighborhood to pick up the face-to-face, passing a gonk droid, and I'm very curious to see if we will ever find out why the troopers are present in this moment, as Werner Herzog's character remains unnamed as just the client. I think that he was at one point an Imperial general or lieutenant. He's got an Imperial symbol around his neck there. In this scene, we are introduced to Dr. Pershing, the guy on the side who is standing on the side, and the one who hired. He's basically, it seems like he's the one who's involved. He's at least heavily involved in the bounty because he cares about the well-being of the bounty and of the target. And Dr. Pershing is definitely someone who doesn't want the bounty harmed. This leads me to believe that he is responsible for it in some other way. Herzog illustrates that he understands that accidents might happen sometimes, and that payment will be a camtono of Beskar. So that, I'm assuming that's either, it's probably a large, it's obviously a large amount. We'll find out how much it is of Beskar metal, or maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. Maybe he won't return it. They offer him a tracking fob with only a partial chain code, so it's like how old they are, and apparently this little infant that we see at the end, spoiler, is 50 years old. Obviously that's understandable considering Yoda was 900. So there is quite a bit that occurs on this one planet in the middle section of the episode. He delivers the bounty, acquires the new bounty, and then pays his rewards to this woman who somehow is higher than him. The leftover metal from his payment will help find other younglings, or in this case, a foundling. They call them foundlings, as we learn our new anti-hero used to be one. This is a good, strong point in the story, because that is what the Mandalorians have always been for many years, always being who they come from other worlds, joining in an order of warriors. So this part I do love. This is part of the lore that we all know. This is Legends lore, that Mandalorians come from all over, and they're just warriors. They just end up becoming warriors because they're inducted into this society of warriors, and that's what Mandalore is about. That's what it's always been about. And so they're honoring the legends there, which is good. I still haven't found the name of that weapon yet, that electrical weapon, which is fantastic. I love that weapon. I think it's so cool. So if you know it, please let me know. I looked all over. I still can't find the name of it. I don't think Lucasfilm has named it yet. The encounter with Nick Nolte and the Blurgs was bizarre, especially when it was odd dialogue at first, and this made me think that there was lazy writing, but his character is merely an eccentric who creates curiosity. His authoritative and comforting wiseness is highlighted here, allowing us to really be absorbed by his kindness and centered nature. His reassuring oddness is good. I like his character a lot. We learn in this riding scene that all the male blurgs are eaten by the female blurgs during mating, which was kind of really off-putting. Do you really have to do that? Did you really have to do it like that? Really? Not sure if this is an underhanded feminist punch in the nuts. Nick Nolte's character, Queel, and I know that, the praying mantises, eat their male counterparts, which I understand, but it's like, do you have to, I don't know. These are mammals, Nick Nolte's character, Queel, the Ugnaught, is grateful for the opportunity to help the Mandalorian to come and help them by removing the mercenaries who are seeking reward by causing destruction, and that might give his area peace. So that was great. He actually turns down the money. He's like, which is a cool moment. That's a cool moment. It's it's like, I mean, in all this, you know, madness and anti-hero, you know, mess that we're kind of engulfed in, it was great to see this kind of honor code kind of portrayed there. This ending action sequence was really fun, and it was great. But how did IG-11 actually get that close? That was a flaw there. They showed him all the way up close. Like, how did he get that close with all of the mercenaries there? Like, okay, anyway, that's just me being nitpicky again. That is a moment that was too obvious. However, these last 10 minutes of the episode was quite entertaining. So, and I hope that we can get more of these two characters. They play off of each other well. As far as the Bounty Child, this is a reminiscent of the Clone Wars original animated movie that came out shortly after the prequels, when the whole premise of the story was by Dave Filoni, and it was centered around Jabba's baby, if you remember that. Like, tossing Jabba's baby around as it was getting sicker and sicker. It was like coming down with a damn cold or some BS like that, and that was interesting to think about. So, and then Filoni, this was actually Dave Filoni's first live action episode of Star Wars directed, period.